Hi everyone, today we are talking about the product called That Purple Thang. Now, mine sadly is not purple. I think they come in different colors now. Mine is pink, and it was developed by a lady named Lynn Graves. She is a quilter who made this, and it's such a brilliant product. I think everybody who is a sewist, a seamstress, a quilter, an embroiderer, anyone that is actually crafting or doing anything like that, this tool is for you. And today I am going to tell you why.
Okay, let's look at this product. So right at the very end, you can see they've got a square end on it, and each side of this end is 1/4 of an inch. So when you're lining up seams and you want them to be exactly 1/4 of an inch, this one, as you can see, is fairly close. While you're sewing along your edge, you can use this as a seam guide to have your 1/4 of an inch perfect. You can either use it this way or you can use it this way as you're pushing and guiding your fabric underneath of your needle. If we go down a little ways, you can see there is a hole here. This hole is an eye, essentially making this whole entire wand a needle. And so what can you use this eye for? Well, if you have yarn, you can thread your yarn through here and slide this through your knitting or your crocheting to bury your ends. As well, if you have any form of an elastic, so I have 1/4 of an inch, this is chlorine resistant elastic, you can just thread this through. And then you can take this and guide this through material. This isn't obviously sewing fabric, but it will do for this purpose. It just guides through very, very simply and very easily. And you just grab the end of your fabric, and there you go. Easily. This does the perfect job. Now, if you have thicker elastic, so this is 3/4 of an inch, you can see this elastic is a little bit bigger, and maybe you have ribbons or you have something you need to thread through that's a little bit bigger than the eye, which is 1/2 an inch. What you're going to do is you're going to fold it. So I'm folding this in half, and what I'm going to do is, you can see there's the ends, this is the top, and it's even got a little, you can clean this off with a clean cut, which will make it even easier to go through the eye of this wand. But what you're going to do is you're going to put the folded side toward the needle first, and you can see it goes through quite easily. And there it is. It's going to be folded when you push it through your fabric, but it will go through. And so lots of room there. I'm sure even up to an inch. Anything bigger than an inch, you might have a bit of a problem coming through this eye, but you can always give it a try depending on how thick your elastic is. So really nice for that, pulling things through. A lot of people will put a ribbon through this and they'll make themselves a nice little necklace or a hanger, and they'll hang this on things. So that's super helpful. And the body of this is very thin. So it's actually going to go through things really easily because it's very smooth. There's nothing to catch on this. And it's very stiff. Like you can see, it has a little bit of a bend, but not a whole lot. So it's a pretty solid product. Now, as we move down the arm of this piece, you can see that it goes to a curve at this end. And when I rotate it, it goes from a thicker arm to a skinnier arm here. Do you see how it goes to a point at this end? This is a stiletto. A lot of people use this for many different purposes. The one that I'm going to tell you about today, or one of the many, is if you have a corner. So this is a really thick material, thick cotton, and it's like jean material. And what I'm going to do is I want to turn it inside and get a clean corner here. So let's do that now. We're going to rotate this inside out. Of course, I used nice thick fabric for this. And what you're going to use is this point. A lot of the times I would use a seam ripper, or I'd use a pin, or I'd use the end of my scissors. And this is perfect for turning corners to a perfect corner. Now this is a thicker fabric, so it's not going to go as well. This side's pretty good actually, but you can see I didn't actually go through my corners. This one's bulkier because this has got two seams underneath of it. This one only has one, but it actually makes for a really nice corner turner, and it doesn't poke through like what your scissors would do, or like a seam ripper would do. A seam ripper would poke through and actually leave a hole, whereas this one, the end is fairly, I don't know if you can see that, the end is fairly thick, and so it doesn't turn or poke through as badly. Now, if you have your seams, a lot of times you like to finger press seams. This end is perfect for running along, for an alternate to finger pressing. You can just use this and press your seams down so that your finger doesn't get worn out on the material. Sometimes, yeah. But this works just really nicely for seam pressing. Many machines need to bring the bobbin thread up from the bottom. And so this tool is great for when you raise up your thread and you need to catch it underneath. It's great for grabbing your threads from the bottom bobbin. When starting a piece of fabric, if your material is being a little bit stubborn, like this little tiny piece here, and I really want it to hold down while I'm putting it under the presser foot, you can notice I am using this thing to just hold down that fabric while I lower the presser foot into the exact spot. It's used for straightening out, and I can use this to make my seams go in a specific direction if I want. If I need my seams down this way, I can hold these with my stiletto and get my fingers out of the way and not run over them. This one's going to go straight, but watch. See how this fabric wants to peel up once I get to my presser foot? I can use my thing, this purple thing, to push this down, and I don't have to worry about running over my fingers. This tool is great for pushing fabric underneath of your presser foot when you want the fabric to go a little bit faster than what your needle's going. So to make pleats or things like that. So let me just show you how this works. So here I'm going to push with my tool, and then I'm going to push with my tool again. Get onto that pleat and push with my tool again, making sure my fabric is straight, and push with my tool again. And the nice part is you can actually make it 1/4 of an inch perfectly if you just watch your pleats. And there you have a nice gather. Once you iron it, these will lay exactly the same width apart. When turning things around and inside out, you've already sewn something and you want to flip it inside out. This tool is so handy because you can use the either end and just push all the fabric to the other side without any problem at all. You can get right into those corners that are stubborn. And it makes for turning so much easier. This tool is also great when you have really tough spots that you need to get at, especially when stuffing things. I know when my boys and I did a craft that meant that we had to do stuffing in like tiny little tails and things like that, legs, arms. I mean, you can only stuff so much using your finger, but then this just kind of pushes things right where it needs to go. Initially, we used just our finger to push things in, but then when we really wanted things accentuated, we could use this to really push into spots that we couldn't get with our fingers, like ears and tails and legs and toes, some of the toes on some of the characters that my boys wanted to use. Really needed this tool for stuffing, which seemed to work out great. Another great way to use this is when you're English paper piecing, or if you're embroidering and you have stabilizer on the back of your embroidery and it's being stubborn and you need to get it out of certain spots, or even if you're English paper piecing or even just paper piecing in general. What you can do with this is you notice it goes in here perfectly. You can lift these up and it will take this out and start the process of removing your paper so easily. Without having any problem at all. So ladies, as you can see, this beautiful tool for sewing has so many purposes. You can do so many things with it. It's such a useful tool. It pushes, it pokes, it pulls. You can fudge, you can turn, you can stuff things with it. It's just really useful for so many purposes. So go out and buy yourself that Purple Thing. I'm sure it comes in many different colors. The original was purple, but I think it's such a fantastic tool and it's definitely one of my favorite things that I use when I'm sewing.